Indeed, it comes in handy at the time when the government has been working on increasing local content for various sectors in our economy as outlined in our various strategies, including Vision 2030 that aspires to transform Kenya into a middle-income state, 2, Kenya Industrial Transformation Program, which has identified textile and apparel as a priority sector, and thirdly, the Big Four agenda that aims to increase the contribution of the manufacturing sector to the GDP by 15%. I am glad that most of them have been covered under sector-specific publication we are launching today. Our President, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, has been clear on where the government wants the textile and apparel sectors to go. He has been wearing Made in Kenya shirts which showcase and affirms his commitment to the cause. And I believe we as members of the executive we need to borrow a leaf from him and be wearing like him. He wears it nowadays Monday to Sunday, so that is his brand, and I believe we now need to be proud of that, and we start wearing locally manufactured or locally done textile and apparels. And thank you, Rivertex. He is very, very proud of Rivertex for what they have been doing. Through a presidential directive, all disciplined forces have been compelled to procure the local from local manufacturers. So far, we have had successful stories, and we expect to sustain the strides made so far. The 2020 pandemic proved to us that we need to look internally and develop local supply chains to meet our demands. We applaud the textile sector for arming Kenya and the region with critical supplies needed to address COVID-19. You all know when the skies were crossed, what happened? We looked internally, and as Akinyi said, that our tailors came in handy and supplied masks to our communities, and they are still doing that. And how I wish we had sustained that pressure, because we were wearing all those fabric masks which were locally made, and they protected us. So that means they are safe. I think it is us who keep undermining ourselves. Therefore, we need to look at that. We did the protective clothing for our health workers. All of them, again, were done locally, and the good news is that we are even now exporting the protective clothing to our neighboring countries. We are exporting masks to our neighboring countries. That sends a very, very strong message, because if we could trust our local apparel and textile with protective clothing, why can't we trust them with the other ordinary clothes which we wear for fashion, for leisure? We can trust them with our lives, but we can't trust them with our fashion. You know, it's a paradox that we can't do that. Listening to the presentation on the integrated communication plan, I could not help but look forward to its successful execution. The latest census pointed out that we are 48 million population, growing day by day and dominated by the youth. However, it pains us to know that we are still importing over 70% of the retail fashion, both in form of new clothes and second-hand clothes, which is driven by several factors. The first one, which is debatable, is availability of fashionable clothes. And this is a question we're asking. Do our manufacturers and designers have capacity to produce what the market wants and what it is demanding? We need to interrogate that and find out, do we have, because when we met the Mituba importers, and I feel Phyllis was there, their position was, we don't have varieties. Our varieties are very, very limited. If I go there, I get all those varieties. And this is the challenge to our designers. Rise to the occasion and develop a variety. And if you do so, I am certain, and we push it, our Kenyan will start consuming. And even if you look at for instance, I sometimes look at the imported clothes, new clothes. I don't think they are the variety is that wide. You find if it is shirts, maybe 100 or less. If it's t-shirt, the designs are like that. So why can't we develop ourselves various different varieties, especially as we have pointed out, for our youth? because as I think it is Riziki who said, they want to see that tick. Can we come up with something which they can be proud of as Kenyans? And I know we can come with fashions which can be proud of as Kenyans. Sometimes I look at some examples when our athletes are learning how comes we all carry that national flag. That means we are proud of it. There are some other bloods which we sell, and I would say, look at it, something like what? For instance, if you were to talk about Tusker, how comes every Kenyan is proud of it, and it is locally manufactured? So we can change the mind and the heart of our people so that they can start being proud of our local fashions. But to do so, we need to expand that is the availability of different fashions and design. The second issue is affordability. The Kenyan market remains to be cost-driven due to the economic state that we find ourselves in. We have a rise in social and economic status, and as such, we are seeing a rise to the purchasing power of our people. We have been importing textile and apparel worth about 30 billion shilling. And this is when why I looked at it and said that in our strategy, we are seeking to increase our sales of locally manufactured textile and apparel by 10%. I hope you have done your calculation to mean that by that 10%, you'll take 10% of them too, but that means you need to reduce the imported clothing by 3 billion, minimum of 3 billion. You must start working, because what we said, and I saw it in your strategy, our target is that 30 billion which is going out. What shall we do to ensure that that 30 billion remains here? Therefore, you must look at, as we said, the affordability, because that was the other question when we met with the importers. And we asked them, why are you not buying local? They said they are not affordable. And if you ask a Kenyan on the street, he'll say our clothes are not affordable. What can we do? Can we come with a design which is good fashion, good quality, and still remain affordable? That is a challenge to our designers, because the moment we do that, we'll also start winning their pocket by telling them that this is just like what is imported. And if you look at it, the quality is the same. The pricing is the same. Why don't you promote that tailor who is based in Babadogo, or who is based in industrial area, or who is based in such and such a place, by buying a local? And you know, we need to convince them that by so doing, there are several other people who are benefiting. But as long as the cost remains prohibitive, it will be a big challenge trying to sell this. So that is a big challenge. And I do recall, and I believe, Julie, you were there when you met your sector, and Phyllis, you are there. The challenge by His Excellency was, one, can you develop local designs which can meet or can match the prices of Mtuba? And that is what we say. That is the only way we'll be able to win. And that has been the challenge His Excellency, the President, has been throwing to the textile sector. Come up with something which is affordable. The third challenge is accessibility. More people are geared towards purchasing locally manufactured products, but do not have an idea on where they can purchase the product. That is a big challenge. If in my hometown town of Nakuru, I want to buy Mtuba, I know where to get Mtuba. But I don't know where to get local clothes. I also know where to get the importers, those boutiques who import. Who are you? Except now you tell me I go to Betty. Betty is a manufacturer. There are no shops. So which are those shops? Where are they located? Are we sensitizing our people such that if I need, if I need a locally manufactured shirt or suit in Kitui, I know where to get it. The only thing we are so sure, which are locally manufactured, we know where to get the uniforms, because those ones are locally manufactured. But if you need a suit, if you need a t-shirt, if you need a bag, like the one Ezekiel carrying, I don't know where to get it. Unless I start inquiring, you know, where do I get this thing? Where do I get this thing? We need to have and to know if we want to buy locally manufactured textile and apparel, where we can get it. And that is why we are saying that as we move on, we need to start capturing both, by our communication strategy, we need to capture both the minds of the Kenyans and their heart so that they can associate and be proud of whatever we are doing. I was happy when Riziki, you are presenting and saying, can we come with the local, even intimate clothes, because that is a market which is there, because we have already banned the importation of second-hand. We have already banned the importation of the second-hand intimate clothing. That is a market which is ready and which is available. What are we doing? Because we can't just tell people we are stopped the importation of other garments, but we are creating a market for imported new undergarments. You know, that it is not helping our people, because one of the things, one of the expectations was that our locals will exploit that as a market, because it's a market which is ready, it's a market which is available. And I remember I was thinking about it when you were talking, and I remember when we were growing up, because I think the Mutubas came later on, I remember there was even an advert which used to learn about undergarment. I think it was called Tajiri. You remember that's an advert. So people would advertise, but right now, I don't think we have any blood in Kenya for undergarment. We don't have a blood. So those are potential areas we need to exploit. So going forward, it is important to note that the export market is also available for the sector as the ministry implements the National Export and Development and Promotion Strategy. It is important to note that Kenya is a party to various trade agreements and is continuously opening and securing critical markets for Kenya, including UK-Kenya FTA that was concluded. We already have that market. We have concluded the agreement. Therefore, we have already market for our clothes in UK. We also have the East African Community. We have the COMESA, we have the AGOA, all those, and as Phil said, under the AGOA there are so many products, but we only look for very, very few products. That is another area we can look at, so that we can say, beyond our people consuming, we are exporting. And if we are able to convince our people that we are the major suppliers of those bigger markets, then they'll know that whatever we do here is not substandard. Because if you go to EPZA, they supply all those big brands, major brands. If those guys in Athi River can do for all those major markets, why can't they do for the local? Because it is the same people. You go to, and sometimes it is even embarrassing when you travel to New York and you go to a fashion shop, and what you're buying, checking inside that coat, you find it's made in Kenya. And you feel embarrassed, and I tell people it will be a shame. You travel all the way, you go to New York and buy a shirt made in Kenya, whereas you can come and look for the source and buy it here. I will look for that tailor who did it and tell him, do it for me, and you'll be promoting our people. In conclusion, we look forward to seeing an increase in the market penetration of the locally manufactured textile and apparel products in both the fashion retail mass market and uniformed market. I was happy when Riziki spoke about, I think it's Riziki or Akinyi who said about our uniform, that we only have, what we have is what we found. We have never thought of coming up with a new design for the uniform. And I say, if we can trust the local manufacturers, the local designers with uniform for our children, how come we can't again trust them with what they wear, with their casual wear? We only trust them with uniforms, but we can't trust them with casual wear. That means there's something which is missing. And that's why I say we need to work. And that's why we are coming with this communication strategy. We need to work with the mindset and the hearts of the Kenyans. Our ministry gazetted a list of 371 products in 2020 that are available locally, and we are working toward advancing local sourcing of these products from the domestic industry. And for those of you who know, among those products, several products from the local and textile sector. And what we did is we gazetted 371 goods, which we say that they are priority goods. That means any government or government agency which receives funding from the exchequer is not allowed to procure those goods outside the country. They must be locally manufactured. And that is because we are saying, if we are funding you from the exchequer, You cannot, and we have these products available locally, we cannot allow you to continue sourcing for them. And I mean, in the list, there are various textile and apparel items, including bed sheets, hospital goods, and such products. Therefore, it will be important for the people in the fashion sector to familiarize yourself with that list so that you can take advantage of the 371 goods. This is in line with enforcing the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya strategy, and soon to be finalized local content policy, which will enhance local market access for the manufacturers in the country.